Hello everyone, so let's take a look and see what we're going to be learning this week. I have prepared various examples that I've already rendered using different rendering techniques, and I've iterated over them multiple times, and I'm going to show you multiple sims, multiple renders, and they are in no particular order. And hopefully by the end of this week we should be able to fully acquire the knowledge needed to create all of them. We're also going to take a look at the various math function, or actually very simple math functions, and some vex coding to have all the bases needed to progress through this workshop. So this is one of the first effects that we're going to be creating. You can see we have a geometry here. It's the statue emitting, and we're getting all these interesting curves. And I've done multiple variations of this that I'm going to show that pretty much share the same technique. This is a different one that we're also going to look at that uses a similar technique to the path, but also has various effects. Now this final result here went through a lot of iterations, and it's very hard to get this result from the first time you create particles. You have to iterate over this stuff multiple times to tweak the first impact, the second impact, and even with this one I still have a lot of stuff to make change to and improve. But I'm gonna focus on this center here, which is the most complex effects, and then I'm gonna show you how to do this as well. So that's another version. This is another effects as well, and you can see here the beginning is not very interesting, and I'm still iterating over them. I'm still having to tweak various things, and you can see that I also run into issues. So this is something very normal, and you always have to iterate over things multiple times to tweak, all kinds of motion, speed, and things like that. Cool. So let's take a look. This is a similar version of the blue effect. You can see the statue here. It has a lot more noise, and the rendering is very different here. It uses different rendering techniques, so we're also going to learn that. Let's see. I also have this version, which looks like a snow-like render, and again this uses a different rendering technique to create that nice soft look. But in terms of motion, it's very similar to the one I showed, but I spend a little bit more, a couple of hours tweaking the various forces and try to give it a rhythm. Basically, you can see the beginning, it starts slowly and it's trying to search for a goal, and then once it hits the goal, the energy gets faster and faster, and then it stops emitting to convey that maybe something passed along, or the emission stopped because there is no more sourcing. And yeah, you have to iterate over this and try different speed, different things, but the technique, once you set it up, is pretty much the same. The rest is just iterating over stuff. So this is another version. You can see the shapes here are very different, and the beginning is also different. So I spend again a lot of time tweaking these things, and the technique from the first one I showed to this is the same. Like, the setup hasn't changed a lot. It's just tweaking the various forces and things like that to get more interesting motion. And this goes into the discussion that I talked about last week when it comes to timing and animation. You can have a circle expanding that looks very linear and boring, but with a couple of adjustments you can make it give it a lot more feeling and make it look more interesting. So this is another one that uses the same technique. It's much simpler path basically, and it's the same effect. I think I just did for 2 versions, and this is a duplicate, and I mirrored it again, so you can see they're all the same. This is the sim I did, and the emission here is just a plane on the ground emitting these effects. Let's take a look at this one. This is the same version, and I'm inside the sim, and the particles are coming towards towards the camera. So this is how it looks like from close up. And again, I don't have any secret here or anything specific that I'm gonna share. I'm gonna show you guys multiple techniques to create various effects, and it's up to you to create something unique. If you want to replicate these stuff, that's these effects, that's totally fine. But these techniques should make you comfortable with working with particles and hopefully be able to create a variety of effects.